Early June 1942. 6 months had passed since the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor. In Pacific Ocean north of Midway Atoll, a Japanese aircraft carrier, burning, its decks shattered, sinks beneath the waves. History remembers the titanic clash of carriers at Midway, the roaring inferno, the total victory of the United States. But history often forgets the smaller, more insignificant encounters. The fifth ship to be sunk during the Battle of Midway was the heavy cruiser Mikuma. Commissioned just 7 years earlier, she was a true beast of the Imperial Japanese Navy, sleek, fast, built to deal damage. Originally designed as a light cruiser according to the Washington Naval Treaty, with 15 155mm main guns. These guns were traded for 10 203mm guns in 1939. This ship was packed with danger. Deep in her bowels lay racks of the Type 93 Long Lance, the oxygen-fueled torpedo, a weapon unmatched in its lethal range. The Mikuma and her sisters were the mop-up crew. They were not to engage the carriers, their task was simple. Sail in after the carriers delivered victory, and finish the job by shelling the vulnerable Midway Atoll. But on June 4, 1942, that flawed Japanese plan turned into a cataclysm. 4 carriers, the heart of the fleet, were swallowed by the Pacific. The remaining ships, including the Mikuma, were given one desperate order: flee, run west, and run fast. As the black night of June 5th closed in, the Mikuma was fleeing an invisible threat. But the real enemy was about to emerge from the darkness of their own formation. The cruiser column was moving at maximum speed through the pre-dawn gloom, 80 kilometers from Midway. Tension was a knot in every stomach. Then a sudden urgent signal. The American submarine USS Tambor had been spotted. The alert was sounded. The command came down. Evasive turn to port. It was a sharp, unforgiving order. In the low visibility, with the adrenaline high and the formation too tight, disaster struck. The cruiser Mogami, sailing close behind the Mikuma, approaching her stern in a horrifying, grinding moment of self-destruction, slammed into the port flank of her sister ship, the Mikuma. It wasn't a torpedo, it wasn't a bomb, it was a failure of coordination. The impact was ruinous. Fuel tanks ruptured. Sections of the Mikuma's hull buckled and split. The Mikuma was alive, but gravely wounded. Her engines strained, unable to push past 12 knots. Her speed was gone. Her protection was gone. The Mikuma could no longer keep up with the retreating fleet. She was isolated, crippled, and left to slowly drag herself through the immense hostile ocean, a wounded animal waiting for the vultures to circle. The morning of June 6th broke bright and clear, the perfect hunting weather. American eyes quickly found the 2 stragglers, the Mogami and the Mikuma. The SBD Dauntless dive bombers from the USS Enterprise and USS Hornet descended in waves. This was not a quick dogfight, this was an execution. The pilots focused their deadly attention on the largest, most visible target, the crippled Mikuma. 1 hit, 2 hits. Bombs tore through her decks, igniting fires in the engineering spaces and ammunition rooms. The anti-aircraft guns roared, but they were fighting a battle they could not win. Then came the true horror. The intense heat of the spreading inferno reached the most prized, most dangerous asset on the ship, the Long Lance torpedoes. A series of internal explosions ripped through the hull, not just small bangs, but catastrophic blasts that sent towers of flame 200 feet into the air. These were the ship's own weapons, turning with incredible violence against their masters. Steel groaned, the structure fractured, and the sea rushed in to claim its prize. The Mikuma was no longer battling for victory or even survival. The crew's desperate fight was now simply to hold together the shattered remnants of their ship. The damage control teams fought fiercely, but they were fighting a losing war against the clock. Power failed, communication died, smoke and water filled the lower decks. With every internal explosion and every surge of flooding, the list worsened. By early afternoon, the command was given: abandon ship. Sailors streamed into the oil-slicked ocean as their cruiser continued to be racked by the fire inside. She was a ruin, burning and sinking, a monument to a tragic error. As the sun sank below the horizon on June 6th, the Mikuma could fight no more. The immense weight of water and the failure of her structure became absolute. She rolled onto her side, and slowly, deliberately, the majestic heavy cruiser disappeared beneath the waves of the Pacific. Over 650 crewmen were lost. The Mikuma's story is a chilling reminder. She survived the greatest carrier battle in history. She wasn't sunk by superior enemy strategy, but by the smallest margin of error: a rushed turn, a missed signal, a collision in the dark. The Mikuma did not fall in glorious combat. She fell victim to timing, circumstance, and the unforgiving cumulative cost of a single, fatal mistake. And in modern warfare, that is all it takes.